Yeah, you can follow me on social media, Riejanne Markus, and my YouTube account is Tour de RIERIE.
So, Riejanne, you are also a time trialist, and that's why we are having a cool conversation right now. Can you explain us a bit how you got into cycling and how you became a time trialist, especially?
Yes, of course. So my name is Riejanne Markus. I'm 25 years old and I'm from Amstelveen in the Netherlands. I live here together with my boyfriend, Jasper Okkeloen. He's also a cyclist, and besides cycling, he has his own company, Sokkeloen. And well, how I started cycling? Well, my dad was a cyclist, and actually from I think when I was 6 or something, um, he took me to the races, and that's how I came in touch with cycling. And my dad really liked time trialing, so always when the Tour de France was on television or something, or um, whatever, each cycling race we were watching it on television. But I was also on the site myself when I was young in the weekend. So that's how I become fan of cycling and especially fan of time trialing. So yeah, that's how I got in touch with it. And now I'm looking for my fourth year in a row in the team. Last 2 years it is called CCC Live. So maybe you guys know it better as the team of Marianne Vos.
Yeah, yeah. And how did you become a time trial specific rider? Because, as you said, you were a big fan of cycling when you were watching cycling with your dad and watching the Tour de France. But most riders are not really attracted to time trialing, except for us. But why did you become a time trial specialist?
In the beginning, I was a little bit scared in the bunch, but I was really strong. So that's why I really like time trials, because I ended higher in the results on time trials. But the thing I really like about time trials, and it already started at a young age, is that you have so many specific things, because road racing is just on the bike and it's more like playing the game. But in time trialing, you're trying every week to become better yourself, so to become stronger, but also to search for better materials. And you can watch the guys racing on television, so you can see how other people how other people have the position on the time trial bike, and then there's a little bit more around it, and that's what I really like. So to improve yourself, and a bit like searching for to become better every week.
Yeah. And till now, what are your best performances you have achieved in cycling, and what are you aiming for as a cyclist?
So on the time trial, my best results was last year fifth on the nationals, elite woman, but also becoming European champion mixed relay and world champion mixed relay last year. And besides that, I also have some nice results in other races. So I won 4 UCI races, and I did become fourth in Amstel Gold Race once and second in the stage of the Giro. So my goals are actually every single time trial, but to be honest, there are not so many time trials for women in a year. Normally there are around 5 or something, so that are always big goals. But and of course, one of the biggest goals is to go for the Netherlands to the World Championships time trial, or maybe even the Olympics. Who knows? And besides that, I really like the hard races. So Strade Bianchi, Amstel Gold Race, the hard classic races, and the stage races.
Yeah, as you said, you became fourth in the gold race already. How do you feel your level is in normal road races, so bunch road races, compared to time trials?
I'm actually one of the 12 Dutch girls who are now in the top 100 of the CI ranking. So where I'm in, like, how do you say it, a big one of the 100 best riders in the world at the moment. But yeah, I want to become better in it, of course. My specialty now is a bit more the longer efforts. So I'm working about getting a bit more explosive. So hopefully there will follow more results in like real races. But yeah, like last year, La Course, I also rode for Marianne on front on the bench until the last K. And that's also one of my big specialty, to place riders in a good position on the really important moments, because I can pull longer on the front, you know. So yeah, I'm working. I like to work for the team and ride on the front, but also, of course, I'm trying to develop myself to get better on the time trial, but also in road races.
As you said, you want to become a little bit more explosive to be better in the road races. Are you not afraid this will have a negative effect on your time trials?
Yeah, so this is always a little bit the battle. But I also believe that on a certain level you have to be explosive, and it will also help you in the time trial. So, for example, to come back on race speed after a corner in the time trial is also really important. And the faster you're back on speed is also, yeah, it's important to do it as fast as possible. So it's a little bit. If I have to choose, if I can do 3 time trial trainings in a week or 3 times the sprint training, then it will always be 3 times the time trial training.
But you want to change it to 2 times time trial and 1 time sprint, something like that.
Yeah.
And you say you watch television to the time trialists when the male cyclists are doing time trials to learn something, to look at the materials they're using, the position they use on the bike, or they want to be adapted to on the bike. What are the main things you have learned by watching time trials on television?
Well, the last years there changed a lot actually. So now, of course, you saw a lot happening with what's the stuur in het Engels?
Handlebar.
Extensions and stuff. So yeah, before everyone was like almost flat, and we now try to make it as close as possible. So this really changed the last year. And then of course also yeah, the wheels for example, but especially the tires and the pressure in the tires also there changed a lot. So yeah, I also try to ask sometimes to the male cyclists, like which tires are you racing in the TT and which pressure do you use and what's your weight, because it makes a big difference. So yeah, trying to yeah, to see what guys are using. Aero socks maybe.
Yeah, indeed. Aero socks, very important. Can I ask what tires you use, which pressure you put in, and what the width is of the tires you are using?
Yeah, last year I used the Victoria Speed tires, and they are 23 millimeters. So on the road, of course, we are racing a little bit wider, but in the TT 23. And the pressure depends. Like in Yorkshire with the Worlds, the road was a little bit wet. So then I rode a bit lower because there were a lot of corners and also really steep downhills with corners, you know.
Yeah.
So then it's 6 bar, I think, or maybe even a little bit less.
Yeah. I like what we do is we always ride 25 millimeters only when we have a super fast team time trial, when we think we are over 60 km an hour in the long straight stretches, because with a 23 millimeter tire the rolling resistance is higher, but the aerodynamic, because the tire is more narrow, also depending on which wheel you are riding the tire. But in general, a 23 tire is more aerodynamic, and the faster you go, the more important it is to be aero, and the less important it is to have a good rolling resistance. That's why we only ride 23mm tires in super fast team time trials. Also, because you're almost 10 kilograms lighter than me, it might be different. You will always have a low rolling resistance, so those things are hard to look into. They are quite hard to do testing about it. I'm doing some testing right now about it with 28mm tires. It's quite interesting. But yeah, what I also...
Are you in the time trial? Are you already riding tubeless or?
Last year I was riding a tubeless tire in the front because tubeless is faster, but we had no disc wheel with tubeless tires. So my back wheel had a tubular on there. Now I have tubeless on the time trial bike, and we are also going more and more to tubeless tires in road races. The only problem with a tubeless tire in a road race is when you puncture, it's quite dangerous to ride on the wheel. You ride tubeless in the time trials, or?
Not yet, no.
I would suggest NV wheels. They are, but I know it's not possible with a team. But with the NV wheels, they have a disc wheel that is compatible with tubeless tires, so that's quite good. What I also wanted to ask, if you see now in Belgium quite recently, suddenly we have so many good time trialists, and it's super hard to get selected for a world championship or Olympic Games. But I think in the Netherlands, it's for women, it's exactly the same, even at a lot higher level. If you see, I'm not exactly sure, but I think in 2018 the whole podium were Dutch females in the time trial. So are you frustrated about that, or how do you deal with that?
It has two sides, to be honest. So sometimes it's a bit like disappointing because, of course, there are women from different countries who are at the start line of the World Championships time trial, who I can beat like easily, you know. So sometimes it's a bit frustrating, but on the other hand, if you make it to the selection for the Dutch, then you're able to race to the podium. So it's also a big motivation to become better and better because, it's if you're not able to ride on the podium, then you're not going to be selected. So you really have to be top level to start at the World Championships for the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think if I see the results in the time trials, I think it might be harder to get selected than to get on the podium of an international competition. Maybe we can do some quick questions. Jeff has prepared for us.
What's your length?
I'm 181 centimeters high.
I am 173.
Oh, my favorite question. What's your weight?
At the moment, I'm 62.5 kilos.
And at race weight?
61.
Okay, this one I win. I'm 69 at this moment, and on the race days, 67.
Your estimated CDA?
The last test I did was last year, and it was around 0.1931.
Yeah. My estimated CDA is 0.185, so there is an advantage of being super small.
What was your maximum 20-minute watts per kilo ever?
Around around 5 watts per kilo.
For me, just over 6 watts per kilogram, and I hope Thursday, Jeffke, we will break that record.
I hope I break my own record as well.
One of the advantages of Corona is that you now can really attack those numbers, because of course you do a 20-minute test sometimes in the winter, but in the season it's pretty hard actually. So I also want to do a 20-minute test to try to break it.
Yeah, indeed, you can really work specific on specific goals. And for me now, we more or less trained 1 month specific to do this 20-minute test as a goal on itself. Jeffke, maybe you can work on your camera because we don't see you anymore.
Yeah, I know. I'm having I got a problem on the screen recording as well, so I hope you have it back.
Yeah, I have the screen recording.
Okay, and then something for the constructors and the bike geeks out there. What's the weight of your TT bike in racing setup?
I'm working on it, but it's 8.4 kilos.
Okay, cool. That's because we expected the leaf bike might be lighter, but also maybe because I have a small frame size. I have a 8.2 kilograms race setup. Like like time trial bikes are quite heavy, but they are super aero and super fast.
I'm working on 2 things at the moment, so I want to make the switch to.
Can you quickly repeat, because the connection was you said you wanted to change to a size small and about your extensions?
Yeah, I'm want to change my extensions and my bar, so I hope to be like under 8.2 Ks.
Yeah. Have you thought about speed bars?
Yeah, that's we were working on it actually before Corona, but we had one more test on the track planned. But yeah, everything is cancelled at the moment, so yeah, pretty disappointed about it. But hope to be soon able to do a test on the track and then to make some speed bars.
I think it's especially for the longer TTs. You are so much more efficient, you have a better control of your bike while you're doing cornering or bad road surface. It's a little bit more idle, but not really significant changes. But especially the control you have over your bike is a big difference.
And I have one more question. So, what is your what do you think women learn from the guys?
I don't. It's a hard one to say for me personally, because I'm not so good in the bunch. But if you see some riders, they are spectacular, like Sagan. And if you see male cyclists, they sometimes really are fighting on the bike and so close to each other, and that's the biggest difference I see with female cycling.
Yeah. Work about my fighting skills.
Yeah, but I have to say, when it's getting really nervous in the bunch, that's when I decide I go to the back and I use the excuse like there's a time trial coming up, I have to save my legs.
Classic.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys.
All right.
So, yeah, you can follow me on social media, Riejanne Markus, and my YouTube account is Tour de RIERIE.
Thank you for making the time.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, and
Hope to
we'll
see
keep
you
in touch.
in real life.